Good news, RTS fans! Tempest Rising developers just announced a bunch of new things, including an open beta for the third faction everyone will be able to play, even those who don't own the game, along with new single-player content. There is a lot to cover, so let's dive in straight away. The Veti are the third faction you meet in the campaign of Tempest Rising, but to keep this spoiler free, I won't show them outside the gameplay footage from the previous beta. The single-player campaigns in this game are one of the highest quality ones we got in years, and it's definitely worth playing with minimal spoilers. And it was in that past beta that we were able to play with this very strange but also cool faction in both skirmish and multiplayer modes, but the developers haven't yet released it to the main version of the game. So we come to this new open beta announcement, whose exact time will be announced soon, and you will not need to own the game to participate, which means it is going to be like a demo for all of you who haven't brought the game yet. The Veti as a faction have a lot of interesting quirks and play so differently from any faction of any previous RTS game that they are hard to just figure out how to play properly, which in my book is a great challenge to face as long as it is balanced against how the other factions work and no part of this faction's gameplay is overly complicated. Just one of their unique functions is coexisting with the Tempest resource fields, instead of exhausting them by harvesting, which unfortunately also led to their economy being too weak. This was however balanced out by the power of their individual units. This is why I'm interested to see how developers have changed this faction for the upcoming new open beta. The other major news is that there is going to be new single-player content made for this game. It is currently in active development, as they put it in their post, but that is about all they revealed so far, leaving us to live in mystery for now. There are lots of things they could be working on. The problem is that I don't think that the publisher allowed them many resources post-release, so I highly doubt it is a new single-player campaign for the Veti faction. I mean, I would love to be wrong here and for that to be this new content, but I think it is more likely going to be some sort of a challenge or survival mode like in CNC Generals, or some sort of base defense focused mode. You can tell me what you would like to see as new single player content in the comments below.
Our base is under attack.
A feature I know you will be excited for is map creation tools, which have also been announced as coming soon. Meaning, even though this is the Unreal Engine and that complicates map making to an extent, you'll be able to create custom maps and share them with other players. Devs already confirmed this will be done through the Steam Workshop system. I would personally love to see more free-for-all focus maps, as well as some asymmetrical maps because of how asymmetrical the factions are. So for example, 2 players can take on 3 AI or PvP in such configurations, so especially as the community is small and has quite pronounced skill differences between players.
Awaiting orders.
And on the subject of maps, 4 more will be added to the 1v1 map pool, while 3 maps from the campaigns will be playable in multiplayer, which will also receive the symmetrical arena map meant for up to 4 players. Beyond these main announcements, there is a host of quality of life updates and controls I should mention, and which I'm sure you will appreciate using once you get back into Tempest Rising after its upcoming update on the 29th of April. First among these is the classic right mouse button camera free look, which all players of past RTS games which had this feature will highly appreciate. It just makes things so much more natural than using arrow keyboard keys, for example, or WASD. As for buildings and production, holding shift will finally allow us to place multiple buildings of the same type, while the same key will be used for queuing rally points for production buildings, including air unit recruitment buildings. This means you will be able to send out units from production buildings directly to the current battlefield and choose their route manually. In addition to that, you will be able to do so now even for buildings under construction. There are a few more less important new controls, like centering the camera on a unit if you click its portrait, But for me, the next set of new options and features is far more important, especially for gamers who enjoy playing Skirmish. First of all, the settings you can use in custom and Skirmish games will now be saved for your next match, reducing the time you have to spend setting these up. Second, you can now choose a random faction in these game modes to play with, while the AI can be given the new adaptive behavior and the fresh insane difficulty level. Third, and maybe the most fun option, is being able to spectate matches played by only AI bots. You can learn from them, set them up into strange match setups, or just record cool cinematics as they fight. A great new option no matter how you look at it. The spectator mode is just one of many features the game was already updated with thanks to all your feedback for the past year. Superweapons for each of the 3 factions was another such content update, as so many of us requested them. The Veti Superweapon is named the Sanctifier Portal, and it has a very powerful AoE strike which deals damage to enemies and heals the Sanctifier as it rolls over them. The GDF received the Drone Strike Station Superweapon. As you finish construction of it, you gain a bonus to your vision radius, while when you activate it, it drops 9 drone pod turrets onto the battlefield. Each of these lands with a tremendous impact, dealing initial strike damage. Then the turrets unpack, silencing enemies, and these drones stay active for 1 minute. On top of this, combat drones are spawned from each of these drone pod turrets. Lastly, the Tempest Dynasty faction gained the Excavator Platform Superweapon. First of all, this building allows you to send drone strike teams on a short cooldown anywhere you have map vision. Its main weapon system is an actual earthquake, which sends multiple pulses of damage to enemy ground targets at a targeted location, while allowing you to deploy Dynasty units at the center of the explosion.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
In case you haven't played Tempest Rising in a while, when you return you will find the population cap can be significantly increased in skirmish and custom matches. You can play 3v3 matches, set up different AI difficulty and behavior combos, queue doctrines for research, and lots of other changes you will find useful or fun to play with. Since I organize RTS gaming events every Saturday on my Discord, I hope you will join us, link is in the description, and we can play more Tempest Rising together as this new update is released and we wait for the next open beta to test out the latest version of the Veti faction or play on maps you create. I also have guides linked here which you can use to remind yourself how to play this game. Thank you for watching and happy gaming!